So another cool jQuery opportunity that we have here is one thing that you can do is a mouse over. So anytime that you have your mouse here and you want to make it interactive with the page instead of just clicking on something, as you see here, I've actually made a mouse over function. This is actually one of the cooler functions just because it's so simple to use, and you can use it really with any text or buttons or anything you'd like on your HTML page. So one interesting thing I've done here is just made a couple of paragraphs with the I Have a Dream speech from Martin Luther King Jr. And what I've done is created a bunch of little spans within this text. A span is like the little, it's a literal, it's a more little area that's usually part of a paragraph. So I could actually replace all of this with like a P right here. And the cool thing about that is that anytime then I mouse over a P, so I'm just saying select the P tag within HTML, and anytime I mouse over it, I want to create a function that takes this exact paragraph that I'm hovering over and sends to the CSS file a background color for that particular paragraph that is, and this is just kind of a light blue-gray. So check this out. Oh, you see a background that is a light blue-gray. Here I want you to notice two things. Not only am I using this .css, which I can actually manipulate any type of CSS characteristic in my HTML, my CSS, but I'm also using the this object within JavaScript. The this object is probably one of the most used objects in JavaScript. It can also be used in jQuery. The this object is basically saying that if I'm talking about a paragraph, so anytime I hover over a paragraph, I don't want all of the paragraphs to have their background color changed to this light blue. I just want this one, the one that I'm hovering over, to change the background color. If I just put the P, like just the regular P tag on that, you would see that all of the tags, in fact, change to blue, right? But instead of all of the P tags changing to blue, I just want this one to change to blue. So check this out. Oh, there you go. So change to blue, and I'm adding a couple extra features here to basically highlight it, make it easier to read. So anytime I mouse over this paragraph, like the particular paragraph that I'm mousing over, I want the background color to go to this light blue. I also, over this paragraph that I'm hovering, I want the font size to be 110% of what it is now. That means it's just like 10% bigger. I also want this paragraph that I'm hovering over to have a font weight of bold. I want it to be bolded. So watch what happens every time I mouse over it. Oh, cool. It does exactly what it's saying right here. It's putting in the CSS for this particular paragraph, a background color of this light blue, a font size of 110%. You can see the font gets bigger here actually, and the font weight becomes bold. It bolds all of the words in there. So pretty cool, huh? You notice though that if I didn't have this part of the function here, let me just take this out. Watch what happens. I mouse over and it stays like that. So, and look, if I mouse over all of them, then they just stay like that. So what I've actually done here is, as there is a mouse over function or a mouse over section, you can actually do a mouse out. You can also do a mouse out method. So every time I go over a paragraph, that same paragraph or this paragraph, and I just basically reset everything. The background color goes to nothing. There's no background color on any of this. This same paragraph, the font size goes to 100% instead of 110%, so it goes back to its original size. And this very paragraph that I'm mousing out of, see my mouse goes out, the font weight goes from bold to regular. So this is a little method within jQuery that if I mouse over it, it'll get bigger. If I mouse out, it will, I'm changing the CSS to back to where it was its normal size. So this is really pretty cool. But actually another thing that I've done with this to make it easier is taking the span part, which is, again, making a smaller paragraph, or not a smaller paragraph, but a smaller section of a paragraph. It's really any section of any text. What I can actually do, instead of saying mousing over any P, if I mouse over any span here and mouse out of any span, watch this. I've actually made little spans so that if I highlight just that section, so it's just that little section that I've put spans in between. Spans are really, really fun to use, particularly when you're trying to, make like little parts of a text do different things. You can use this span here within HTML, and that just basically makes the HTML cut up the text without making it look any differently, unless you obviously tell it to do something differently. Like within this JavaScript, I'm telling all spans, when I mouse over that particular span, change the background color this light blue, make the font size 110%, make the weight bold, and when I mouse out of it, turn it all back to normal. So check this out. So this actually would make it really easy for me to read this. So if I mouse over this first part, I can read this first paragraph more easily, and then all these little sections. For five score years ago, a great American whose symbolic shadow we stand signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree became, and so you can just keep going on, and it makes it a lot easier to be able to read what you're trying to read. And so this is a cool little program that could help students read more easily, highlight letters for people who might have eyesight problems. So I could actually make this, like, instead of just 100%, I could actually make it 200%. Watch what happens here. Wha-bam! See how big that gets there? So I just changed it from 110% to 200% there. And it makes it much easier for people who might have eyesight problems to read. And you can make an entire program or entire web page do this just by using these two little functions from jQuery.